Bathu Footwear recently celebrated the successful launch of their Walk Your Journey series. This mentorship program is aimed at equipping aspiring and emerging entrepreneurs with knowledge to enable them to enhance the sustainability and growth of their businesses. CEO and founder of Bathu, Theo Baloi, joins us now. Good evening, and thank you so much for your time, Theo. Certainly, during a time when emulating becomes the order of the day, people want to be someone else. You're talking about walking your journey. Tell us about that.
Good evening, Bongo, and evening to the viewers at home. So our brand promise, speaks about walking your journey. We started our business in a room in Alex with a vision to build a shoe brand that Africans can proudly affiliate with. And, on this journey, we want to accommodate everyone who's on a journey of greatness, a journey of unleashing their dreams, and we decided that we realized that there's a lot of people that don't know where to start with their journey. So we thought about, putting together a series that is going to accommodate, many other entrepreneurs who are on a journey of greatness.
And talking about, starting and where people, in most cases, people don't know where to start. Starting also includes the relationships that you then have at the time in order for you to then travel the road that you're then hoping to travel. Are you linking some of these people, these young people that you're mentoring, with some of those that have walked the journey in order to be able to assist them?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the beauty about a journey is that, it does not have size, shape, or form. So what we've done is that we're obviously saying, this is how we've walked, the journey as Bathu. However, on that series, we had a great panel of other great entrepreneurs that are in different sectors as opposed to the one that we're in, and we shared our part and we gave tips and I think tangible, lessons as to how to really walk this journey, how to start, and we had, other entrepreneurs, Nicolette Mashile, who's doing great things in financial sector, Tumi Parker, who's in gym and fitness, and obviously Precious the Planner, who's in events, and that also, they gave great advice that is to, how to go about walking a journey and tangible advice, So, we are including everyone in all the sectors as well.
And what forms part of this mentorship program? What kind of advice then do you have for these youngsters, and what is part of the program?
Yeah, I think, the beauty about this program is that, we don't actually, sort of tailor make it per credentials or anything. We're saying if you are in a startup phase, if you have a concept that you believe it will work, if your business has been in existence for 2 years, if you are on a growth stage, you've started a business and you're about to grow it, come through and be a part of this. People have, one of the questions that they've asked in this series was, we had people who develop apps, but they don't know how to actually scale them and, source funding so that they can technically grow them, and the advices that they got from our entrepreneurs who've already walked the journey, who knows, I think the step-to-step processes as to how to secure funding, so it was very tangible, I think, advice and lessons that was taken away from the engagement that we had with entrepreneurs during the week.
I'd like us to talk about this selection process. So it's people that have started a business and it's been in existence for 2 years, and are you not taking anybody that hasn't started or is just starting and it's maybe a couple of days old or just months old?
Yeah. So we don't want to tailor make it, especially when it comes to the requirements, credentials. Like I said, we want everyone who's on a journey. So whether you are a startup, you are at concept phase, you just started, you are going through a growth stage, we're inviting everyone who's just on a journey of greatness. So we don't want to cut it and say only businesses that are, have been in existence for 2 weeks and so forth, So it's everyone who's just starting, who's on a journey, whether you're just about to start, whether you've been in it for 2 years or for 5 years, So we want to create that hub where we can all get into one room, share ideas and exchange valuable and tangible, I think ideas and resources so that we can all grow together, whether from a startup phase, from a growth phase, or from a fully fledged organization.
And Theo, I'd like to, zoom into your personal story now. You talk about a room, and certainly yours is one of those inspiring stories. And as we have this conversation, on Youth Month, certainly when one looks at a startup is long nights, lots of tears, lots of moments where you want to give up, and you certainly do not even think it's worth continuing with this journey, because at some point you can't even see what the future holds. Talk to us about your journey and those driving moments then that caused you to stick it out and get to the point where you are at today.
I mean, we started from humble beginnings in a room in Alexandra with a vision to build a shoe brand that Africans can partly affiliate with. And in that journey, I think one of the major components of our journey, or the proudest moment of our journey, was that even in the startup phase, we did about 18 months of research and development, proof of concept, quality controls and quality checks before we even launched our organization. And moving right along, even before we launched our organization, I mean, we declined about 13 times, and all of this was, we declined 13 times by the factories that we obviously proposed for the idea of producing the match edition sneakers. And the beauty about this journey is that we remain core, and solid and focused into our vision of building a shoe brand that Africans can partly affiliate with. Not only with that being only that, but also with at the core of our mission is to reignite hope and create sustainable jobs. And 5 years later, we've got about 26 retail stores, in the country. We employ about 230, plus people in our business. And just a few weeks ago, we were named, part of the top 100 most admired brands. We ranked number 10 on that list. And it has been a journey that, hasn't been easy, of course, but it couldn't have been possible without the support of our esteemed clients. And most importantly, our forever hardworking team, our people. And, those stakeholders that really believe in our vision and what we're trying to build.
And I'd like to really zone in on something you said there, because there is an entrepreneur tonight who's finding themselves in a position where they've been declined. You say that you've been declined 13 times. There's somebody who maybe tonight has been declined 5 times, 10 times. What kept you going? What told you in that moment that I'm still not going to give up, but I'll continue despite being declined 13 times?
For me, personally, I've got a mantra that I live by, that says, rejection or criticism shouldn't be a personal thing. You shouldn't take it personal. Because oftentimes when people decline, it simply means that, they don't feel what you feel. They were not there when everything else was revealed to you. They don't see the vision that you have, in your mind, in your heart. So it shouldn't be personal. It simply means that someone is wearing a different lens as opposed to the one that you've got on. So you need to be able to really be authentic and be, authentic to your core and really believe in your vision, because, people have different lens on. So when they say no to you, it does not necessarily mean that your idea won't work out or the mechanics of your business model are not the right one. It simply means that they just have a different lens on. And I think for me, that mantra kept me going because I believe so much in building a shoe brand that Africans can proudly affiliate with and reigniting hope for my community.
And talking about reigniting hope, I'd like us to talk about the school care project. Certainly, you have, one would say, Theo, you've just started, and why are you now thinking of other people? But certainly that's the beauty of business, giving back to ensure that others are touched by your story. Talk to us then about the school care project that you have just started to give away school shoes.
We started from, a humble, when I mean humble beginnings, I mean really humble beginnings in Alex. And, 5 years later, I looked at, the hope that we've reignited with our employees. I looked at, the people that work for us now that some of them are buying, they've bought their first cars. Some of them are even on their third cars. Some have erected tombstones for their late ones. Some have built homes, for their parents. And I'm like, this business, we have done so much in terms of reigniting hope for our community. But I realized one thing that I think big brands are even missing at the primary level. You can't talk about journey if you don't, communicate with the primary level. And the primary level is, people who are beginning a journey, and those are kids, So I was like, what am I doing, for the kids in my community to reignite their hope? Yes, I might have employed some of their parents and their family members, but what am I doing directly to them? And I thought about, they are beginning a journey. I'm talking about walking a journey. How about that in their journey of greatness, I play a role in there? Because you don't put on a shoe unless you go somewhere. And the first thing that you do in your primary level, you need to wear a lot of school shoes. So how about that we as a brand, we take that responsibility to give shoes and not sell them? Because there's a conversation that has been happening at public sector, at private sector, even at corporate level, that education should be for free, which I stand for. Topic for another day. But we equally believe that school shoes should also be for free. And we as a brand, we want to take the lead in that and not blame anyone. We invested our own process in this because of we believe in it. We don't have any sponsor whatsoever. We believed in it because of the future leaders of this country are at school level. And for us to change the narrative, for us to really encourage them and reignite their hope, we need to play a role. And the best way to do it is with the current issue that we have with school shoes in the country. We as Bathu decided to play a role, about with the school shoes, and just really not commercialize it, but reignite the hope for school kids. And then we decided to launch the Bathu for Bathu care project, where we're going to literally give, our shoes for free. And the objective is, or the plan is to donate about 1 million pairs in the next 10 years. And we as a brand, we are committing to that, and we are committing to commit 100,000 pairs by the end of the next financial year, which is February 2022, on our own.
And other specific schools you're targeting?
So we have a few schools that we have sort of shortlisted or identified, but ideally what we want to do, we want to go to each and every underprivileged school and really roll out this project. Obviously, at the moment, we don't have any sponsors. If there's someone who might be listening to this, and that might be able to sponsor us or be in touch with us, would truly, truly appreciate it, But in future, ideally, we want to go to each and every school in the country. We've got about 6 schools that we have identified. We've done, Dr. Nak in Alexandra this past weekend. I think this coming weekend we're doing Mapala Middle School, which is in Parke, where I come from, just a few kilometers outside Hammarskraal. So we want to do many other schools as we can. The more reach we've got, the better for our objective and our purpose with the Bathu for Bathu shoe care project.
And you talked about something that, I'd like to really end off this conversation with, and that is access to education. Because certainly we still see the issue of free education still being top of mind for many who are struggling to, get access to quality education.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a big issue, one of the reasons why we started Bathu, I personally started Bathu, believed in Bathu so much, was because the fact that, I was very fortunate to have gotten great education, gotten 100% bursary, worked for great firm in South Africa and overseas as well. But oftentimes when I came back to my community, being Alex at the time, I realized that a lot of our brothers and sisters are unemployed, and the reason for that is because of access to education. Then I didn't want to blame the government, and we started Bathu to really try to reignite that hope and give them, opportunities so that they can later, either educate themselves or educate their children or their families as well. So we believe in that access, because I believe that, I am who I am because of the education that I've gotten and the opportunities that education has, awarded me or afforded me.
All right, Theo, thank you so much for your time tonight. Certainly do appreciate it. That is CEO and founder of Bathu, Theo Baloyi.